Hello everyone, and welcome back to Dragalia Foundry, a fan channel where everything Dragalia Lost can be found. This video is my summoning session for Gala Luca on the Gala Dragalia Summon Showcase. Pretty excited to be here today summoning on another Gala. There's always the chance of pulling a Gala Cerise, although to be clear, you should not try snipe or go for off-focus units on these Gala banners. You really just have to be happy with what you get to a large extent. A great time to pick up 5 stars, hopefully we can get some cool ones. But unlike a lot of my other summoning videos, I am actually recording this voiceover after the fact. So I do apologize, I actually lost my original audio. I believe here I was going through the list of 5-star characters who I don't have and still need. So we're not going to be able to do the live commentary today on the summons themselves. I actually did these summons the day the banner came out because I was pretty hyped, seeing a lot of reports of Gala Luca being absolutely insane with his critical damage, really fun to play as. So I really wanted to try and pick up Gala Luca, hoping I wouldn't spend that much, and you shall see just how far into our collection or our stash this summoning takes us. I'm not going to spoil that or any of the summons. We will let them unfold on screen, and I'll chime in if there's anything particularly exciting that happens. Honestly, it was a lot of single summoning, so I figure we can use this time to discuss a lot of the news that's broke since then. So, in the time since I summoned, a new trailer came out teasing the Monster Hunter event. This trailer was super sick. It's on the Nintendo Mobile channel. If you haven't seen it already, of course, I will post a link in the description below. But hopefully you have seen it because the event is starting almost immediately after this, I believe. So we are on the verge of this Monster Hunter crossover. It looks like a ton of effort and care has been put into it based on that trailer. You're seeing a lot of cool things, cool nods to the base games, whether it be the music, the armor that the characters are wearing, the weapons that we can craft, even things like the victory screen seem to have been updated. So I'm really appreciative of the amount of fan service in this event. It feels like the Fire Emblem Heroes crossover event in that sense. Here I was pretty hyped because I got 3 5 stars in this circle, as you can see. Pretty rare to get that many, but you'll see what they turn out to be. Going back to Monster Hunter though, I just think that even as a non-fan, I'm intrigued. I'm hopeful about this event. I've said before that most of my experience is with Monster Hunter stories. Part of the reason for that is I just really like the aesthetic of that game. If the mainline series had that similar aesthetic, I probably would be able to get into them a little easier, but I've heard nothing but good things about the gameplay, especially in terms of the accessibility when it comes to, say, World. So I think that it's a really fantastic franchise, and I've heard countless comparisons. A lot of people who are fans of Dragalia are also fans of Monster Hunter. It does feel in a lot of ways that Dragalia is kind of like a mobile, simpler version of Monster Hunter. We're defeating these hard bosses, interesting patterns, working together in co-op, crafting weapons that we get as a result. So I do see the parallels, and I hope that means this is a chance to breathe some new life into the game. If you haven't seen that trailer, it also teased some details on the characters. So of course we have our Hunter Berserker who we knew about, who's a flame sword, but his animations are more like those of the Great Sword in the Monster Hunter franchise, unique fork strike animation as well. But we also found out about Hunter Vanessa. And Vanessa, hard to tell that it's her because she has not her usual red hair, but like a white hair because she's donned the Kirin armor. So in her Kirin armor, she is a light element lancer. Pretty cool. And her force strike also appears to be unique. It seems like it has a counter mechanic built into it. So I think that the units that come out of this are going to be sweet. I'm hoping that they are not all pure 5 stars because if so, it may be a little hard for me to pull some of these. As you can see, my Gala summoning continues and continues right now. But I hope that whatever the case, be they 4 stars or 5 stars, that they are of a good quality. Continue to get to play them for a while. You know, some of the Fire Emblem Heroes characters are not as relevant as they once were, but I would say they're all still very solid. They may not always be the meta picks, but still very solid, very respectable. Mega Man, kind of a unique case, harder to play, so he's not as widely seen, but still a very respectable unit, and especially as a free unit. So I think collaborations so far have been pretty good in the game, but this one to me has even greater potential than some of those we've seen in the past, so I am really looking forward to it. And of course, as the icing on top, there is a new Cerise alt. Possibly, I should say. So that was one of the things that was teased at the very end of that trailer. We got this gorgeous splash artwork of the event. If you haven't seen it, that is also available in the video, but also I believe on Twitter, there's even a website for the event that has some additional details, like details on a login bonus we'll be getting with a 5-star dragon summon voucher, a sunlight stone, Damascus ingot, all of the goodies that we can come to expect from these crossover events. But that Cerise, the armor that she was wearing looked really, really awesome. I'm not super familiar with the Monster Hunter series, but I believe that armor corresponds to a water element boss. So it's likely that Cerise will be a water bow, and she just kind of has like a Japanese or Eastern aesthetic with the outfit that she has on. I think it looks really pretty, really cool. We also get a glimpse at Yuden in that artwork. Yuden appears to be wearing, I guess, Rathalos armor, and at least it looks like that to me. I've heard people say maybe Rothian. I think that's like a female Rathalos. Again, I'm a complete outsider here, so please don't be too harsh on me, but help me out in the comments below with that. But in any case, it looks like he also has a sword type weapon that he's holding. So I'm really not sure if that's just for fan service, just the artwork, or if he's actually going to be summonable. But if he's summonable, that would be pretty cool. It would be yet another Gala Prince type alt, only our second alt for the Prince, and I wouldn't mind that at all. I think he has a lot of fans. He's iconic as the main character of the game, and pretty much all of his forms so far have some type of purpose, especially now that his flame form has received the mana spiral. So I do think that could be a possibility, but there's also some images that have been data mined with some worm prints, and I will say one of them has artwork of Pia. So if you are a Pia fan, knock on wood, but this could be the opportunity. I do not see her as a hunter at all. I'm surprised that we didn't get characters like Hawk, who are so clearly hunters, assassins, but it looked like it was Pia. Perhaps Pia could be on the banner. That's all I'm saying. It would be really cute. She is one of the most adorable characters in Dragalia. So you never know, it could happen. It is the year of the rat, and she does have her best friend, Mr. Mouse, on her normal artwork. So we shall see what happens with that. I'm getting a bunch of 5 stars here, even off these singles, which is pretty pleasing to see, but of course none of them are who I'm going after, Gala Luca. So I'm continuing to just do singles until I build up my pity rate, and then once I've built it up, my intention is to go into tenfolds here, but a lot of the 5 stars keep coming to break my pity rate. Back to Monster Hunter, we also got our in-game teaser, which basically says, an event is coming soon. I fully anticipate that we will get some details on the banner at reset, so probably by the time you're watching this, you may know more than I do about at least Vanessa and Berserker. And after the part of the banner with Vanessa and Berserker, one of the other details in that trailer is that there will be a part 2 to the Summon Showcase. So it seems like until around the 7th, we are going to have the first part of the banner that will likely feature Berserker, Vanessa, and then the second part is where I think we'll probably see Cerise, and maybe Pia, maybe somebody else. There we got a Kamui who is pretty cool. Honestly, a big wolf, big doggo as a dragon, kind of a sweet dragon. I wish he was a little bit better, but that is my first copy of him, so this was one of my highlights in the summoning session. I was pretty pleased to see him. Anyway, I guess that's enough gushing about Monster Hunter. I am really pumped for it. I think that this actually could get me into the Monster Hunter series, as silly as that may sound. So we shall see how the event turns out. I'll do my best to try bring coverage of it while it's happening. And besides that, the next thing I wanted to talk about was the new revive mechanic, because the version update that brought that along has been pushed out now, It was at least available on Android last night, so I was able to play several rounds with the revive mechanic in place. And I have to say, any concerns that I may have had with this, I know that I was a little bit worried about people gaming the system or this making it harder to reset in pre-made groups. Honestly, I just feel a sense of relief and a sense of gratitude, happiness toward the devs for implementing this feature. It is that good, in my opinion. If you are somebody who is a more casual fan of Dragalia and those endgame fights are intimidating, I really encourage you to try check them out at this point, because that revive mechanic makes them more fun to play. It honestly does. It just feels really bad to get one shot by random moves and have to wait there until the match resets. Having that revive mechanic, it doesn't feel broken, there are good rewards behind it, it doesn't really eat into any of the rewards we were getting before, so I really do think it's all upside, and I'm very pleased with how it was implemented. It's pretty cool. It makes it at least, I would say at least twice as efficient to grind out these high dragon trial weapons as well, if you are able to maintain deathless in these trials. And even if you're not, although yes, I encountered some people who do quit the match because they die, I would say that hopefully that is the minority of players, and I do understand where they're coming from. As a really enfranchised player, you do get to a point where you run out of ashes, you run out of wings, and every resource that you spend, you want to get your most out of it. However, I say that as somebody who, I'm not dipping into my Wormite. I never refresh my wings or stamina, so I kind of just play with my naturally allotted resources. But I think that hopefully, as the revive feature kind of becomes more ingrained in the player base, people become more accepting of it. The majority of people, they're going to take the outcome that they get, and they will see a clear as a clear. I still wish that it was a little easier to accumulate tails and accumulate horns in terms of the expert and master high dragon trials, but this update definitely makes it better, and even affected things like Agito, because now, I believe, when it comes to the standard Agito, you're also going to be able to get bonuses for that as well for not dying, and there's even a revive feature in that. It's actually gone so far as to be in things like the expert void battles, and the revive mechanic, even if there's not a bonus associated with it, is in lots of other fights. I think pretty much all of the fights in the game. So for a game that never penalized losing to begin with, I think this makes a lot of sense. I had seen players be confused in the past, newer players who would give up just because they died in the match, not necessarily realizing that whether they lived or died wouldn't affect the rewards that they got. So I feel like this way is much more intuitive. It's kind of a, it makes you feel a little bit bad when you die, but you get that heart, the revive countdown right away. You get ready, you get a little bit pumped and pepped up to get back into the match. It's honestly kind of a feel-good moment. It's weird to say. Yes, it's a little disappointing you lose your rewards, but I also feel a sense of like, oh man, I should have avoided that. Let me get back into it. I can help out my team. And I had played a couple matches where people may have accidentally died fairly early. I was working on Midgard Stormer this week on Expert, for example. People might have gotten caught in the 8-way, maybe fallen asleep by accident, or not fallen asleep, gotten stunned. And as soon as they came back in, they were ready to go, and they actually helped make sure that we had the DPS to clear in a timely fashion. And they helped a lot with certain segments of those fights where you tend to really need a lot of your team members still alive. So as an example, for things like the Tattered Sky in High Midgard Stormer's trial, or Searing Pillar in High Brunhilde's trial, everybody groups up together. And having people revive is a great boon with that. It means that just because a couple people died early doesn't mean you're automatically going to wipe at those points. So I have been really impressed with this, and I guess that brings me to my final point or topic for the video today, which is just the importance of gratitude, I think, and the importance of understanding that things are temporary. That cuts both ways. Sometimes the pain and difficulties that we're going with are temporary and we get to a point like this where we can be happy and say they did a really good job about bringing about a change, and Cygames has had a good track record of this with the game to bring us to a better point. On the other hand, I would also say that sometimes the enjoyment that you have and the positive experience you have to cherish that as well, because that's not always going to be there. And so it's something I've been thinking about a lot this week in light of recent events, and just reflecting on how my experience with the game changed as well. I think if you look back a year ago, I still had a much more casual and probably positive and healthy mindset toward the game. I wasn't as concerned with the endgame content. It didn't really feel like a treadmill that I had to keep playing. And I think as the year went on and new content emerged that required higher and higher investment, not only of characters, builds, but also knowledge of the game and constantly playing the game, I think that probably my enjoyment really started to dip. But some of that was really within my control. And so what I see this as is an opportunity for a fresh start. I'm not going to probably be the best meta competitive player. I'm not as invested in those things, even though I do enjoy some of that. There are other parts of it, like the time attack, that I really didn't get a lot of pleasure out of. But I think that what this update has done is made me feel like I can enjoy the game in my own way, whether that be as a more casual player or sometimes have fun pushing the end game, pushing that harder content. And I hope that many of you feel that way as well, just because I do think it was pretty alienating and even warped the player base a lot how hard the game had become in some respects. So I'm hopeful that this is an opportunity that we can kind of express a little bit of thanks to Cygames, send in the good feedback, and send in the feedback about things you'd still want to be improved, of course. But I'm pretty pleased with how things are right now. I think this is a turning point for me compared to the last turning point, which was probably that time attack, the High Dragon rollout. I know I liked Agito Uprising a lot, but even then I think it was a small minority of players who could really access that. So if you are somebody who's been away from Dragalia Lost for a while or on the fence, I would highly encourage you to take a look, because lots of things are more accessible now than they used to be. There's a lot of new content, expert void battles, new types of enemies, the Volk's Wrath trial. The story has begun to get fleshed out, including in things like interludes. And hopefully Monster Hunter will be that great time to jump back in. So I guess that's really all I wanted to say for this video. You can see there that Mikoto, as much as I love that boy, he showed up at the wrong time. I was really hoping I would have gotten Gala Luka there. I'm just going to continue rolling out my singles. That's basically what the rest of the video is, and I reached a point around 25k where I decided I need to save for Monster Hunter. I'm hopeful that I'm able to sweep the banner on Monster Hunter, but you never know. I'm going to try to take it from a more casual attitude, as much as I have to recondition myself on that. I still enjoy the analysis and everything, but I kind of just want to collect the cool characters, if I'm being honest with myself. So we shall see how that ends up unfolding. I hope that you have a good start to the event if I'm not able to catch you before then. If we do get a banner preview tomorrow, I may try and make a video. I guess, let's see, who's this? Wait a second, Gold Fafnir? Okay, it's an X. And it was Summer Julieta. Yeah, I still want to pick up a regular Julieta. That might be my next dream summon. Maybe she'll even get a Mana Spiral. I'm hopeful that we get some more Mana Spiral news as well, because as much as the Shadow characters didn't really do it for me, they're all characters that I love. I read a lot of your comments, and yes, they are pretty good now. There we go. That's who I thought those Gold Fafnirs might be before. So I did manage to get Luca on a summit that I actually skipped. A shame. I really should have paid more respect to Luca, not skipped out on those singles, but it had been a long time summoning at that point. So I was pretty hyped to get Luca here. I don't know when I will really be able to build him, but I guess it's going to be quicker than before, considering that the High Dragons are a little bit easier to play through and grind now. So I will work on making a light weapon for Luca, see if I can test him out a little bit more, and I suppose until the next gala, this is going to be my go-to guy. Still don't have Cerise, but maybe we'll pick up that Cerise. Maybe it'll even be a free welfare unit. That would be super awesome. That's going to do it for this video though, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time.